Hello everyone, No Respawns here, hope you're doing well. So for those of you who haven't been following social media all day like the rest of us and getting all hyped and excited, I've got some rather grand news. Bethesda have teased, effectively, almost announced, more or less, a new Fallout game on all of their social media. So in the same vein as was the case with Fallout 4, what they've gone and done is they've placed their standard, quite iconic at this point, please stand by screen, and also the hashtag please stand by. Those of you who remember Fallout 4's and tease and subsequent announcement, this was pretty much the same vein. We've also got E3 coming up in just about 2 weeks. That further supports the fact that we'll probably get a full announcement then, potentially a semi-confirmation prior to their actual E3 conference. So I'm really hyped, and as I imagine most of you are as well. Now, what are we actually getting? That is the big question. So there are obviously theories abound. I'm going to say that it's definitely not going to be something small. A lot of people have suggested, half jokingly to be utterly frank, but it's just going to be something to do with Creation Club, or it's going to be like, I don't know, a Switch release or something like that. For all their potential faults, Bethesda are very good at building hype, and they've got a very good marketing team. I don't think they would be dumb enough to build this level of hype for something so minor. So I'm just going to flat out and say no. Now, also, Obsidian have effectively announced that it's not them as well. So they've said, hashtag, I think it was, it's not us, which means that this won't be the New Vegas to Fallout 4's Fallout 3, if you get my point. It's not going to be an Obsidian-made Fallout 4, which is a shame. That would be really cool. Imagine Obsidian having the Fallout 4 gameplay and engine. It would just be absolutely grand. But unfortunately, no. Now, the other two theories, therefore, are Fallout 5, effectively, or which is the least likely, I'm afraid, or the other one, which is the prevailing theory, which seems overwhelmingly likely at this point, which is we're getting a remaster of Fallout 3. Now, initially when I thought that and heard that, I was getting pretty mopey, because I was like, it's just going to be a reskinned Fallout 3. However, there's quite a heavy argument to suggest that even if it is a remastered Fallout 3, it's going to be more than just an aesthetic upgrade. So the greatest example of this is compare with Skyrim Special Edition. Now, Skyrim to Skyrim Special Edition was there hadn't been any subsequent Elder Scrolls games, so there had been no upgrades in the gameplay, which means really that there was no established precedent for new gameplay mechanics in a Elder Scrolls game. Bar if you could possibly count Elder Scrolls Online, but I don't really count it because it's a completely different game, effectively. Which means that a reskinning was fine, and also it didn't have the same level as hype that this already has. Whereas with Fallout 3, you've got New Vegas, you've got Fallout 4, which, I mean, if you compare Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, the gameplay is dynamically different, even if technically I believe the engine is the same. Obviously, settlements, given the channel, is the obvious one, but also the weapon customization is vastly expanded, and also the power armor as well. That's a big one, with power obviously operating like a vehicle. Those of you who haven't played Fallout 3, or haven't played New Vegas as well, which is just kind of, I wouldn't even say a stopgap between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 in terms of gameplay. Its gameplay is very similar to Fallout 3, but it has lots of new polish. But they're a little bit limited in the weapon customization, or I think actually non-existent in Fallout 3, if I remember correctly. And the power armor was more of just a suit that you put on, though you did have to have training to use it. So, with that in mind, because there's quite a dynamic shift in the gameplay to Fallout 3 to Fallout 4, I would be surprised if they didn't try and insert Fallout 4 gameplay mechanics into Fallout 3. What I'm hoping is we're getting a Fallout 3 that effectively is... It's almost like as if Fallout 4 got a DLC and it was Fallout 3. You get my point? That's what I think / hope we're getting. Actually, I hope that we're getting Fallout 5. Okay, if we're getting Fallout... That would be what I want most, obviously, is a completely new experience. However, the more I think about it, the more a Fallout 3 remake that basically feels like Fallout 4 would be absolutely insane. Now, there are a couple of things I'm worried might not be able to get in. So, weapon customization, if they're going to do one thing, that will definitely be in there, because that would be a really easy for, well, effect, ostensibly, I'm using sarcastic quotey hands here, easy thing for them to do. Second, then, probably, I think power armor would definitely be a thing, because of the fact that it's, again, ostensibly quite an easy thing. Plus, as well, I just think it's way better than previous games. Like, making power armor an effective vehicle was just such a genius design choice that I hope they continue with. The settlements is the weird one, because the thing is, effectively, making a just Fallout 4, Fallout 3, effectively, would be very simple, because they could just effectively replicate the entire landscape and just upgrade it so it looks like Fallout 4, and then input the gameplay mechanics. Settlements might be an interesting one, because settlements are a gameplay mechanic within Fallout 4, which the game is, that the narrative of the game is built around quite heavily. So it might mean that that might be too tricky for them to insert. I hope I'm wrong, because they could just effectively just pick a few minor areas in Fallout 3 and just turn them into settlements. You know, it is possible. We really don't know how much work they're doing on this. Obviously, I absolutely hope there are settlements, because it was Fallout 3 was the one that made me kind of want to go, right, why can't I build up this area? Why can't I do this? God damn it, I want to do this. It would be so cool. So we will see on that regard, but pretty much, yeah, the prevailing theory is Fallout 3. There are a couple of others as well, and there's some kind of more supporting evidence for the Fallout 3. So basically, the biggest one that a few people have pointed out on Reddit is that the traditional please stand by kind of holding screen is normally a washed out colour, so it's usually black and white or kind of that fade. It basically looks old, right? That's the point. It's meant to retro looking. Whereas the current holding GIF they've been using now has colour in it. And that's clearly a deliberate choice. The idea being that a lot of people have pointed out that they've basically taking something old and renewing it or modernising it, which is, again, supports the idea of a remaster. There is a small theory that someone mentioned earlier, a few ones, which is to say that the TV signs, the kind of upgraded TV might mean that this is actually being built on a new engine. That's actually potentially quite a big one as well. And then people are then stretching that to say that potentially this means that we're getting a game based in New York, because that's where the first colour TVs were used in the US. That one's pushing it a little bit. The new engine theory is quite an interesting one. But I just, as much as I would like, and I hope I'm wrong, I don't think we're getting a completely new Fallout game. However, we maybe get new DLC for Fallout 3, not for Fallout 4. I don't think they'll go down the Fallout 4 DLC route. But yeah, so I'm pretty excited on this. I don't think... I think I will be a bit let down if it is just a HD texture upgrade of Fallout 3, because I think Fallout 3 has some now archaic-ish gameplay mechanics that I think could do with a modernizing. If you compare it to, for example, Skyrim has always been a game that's aged really, 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 really well. You know, they didn't need to change the gameplay for Skyrim. I mean, they could have, actually, but they didn't need to. However, with Fallout 3, it could definitely use an upgrade, not just in its visuals, but also in its gameplay. But yeah, I'm quite excited right now. I'm kind of actually got my Twitter open in a second, but if you heard me clicking, because I'm wondering whether they'll announce something, a new update, as I'm recording this video, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case. Let me know in the comments what you think, what your theories are. If there are any theories that you stumbled upon, please link them down below, because I really would like to know more. Obviously, again, in the ideal world, we're getting a completely new Fallout game, and it will be an absolutely fantastic autumn, but close second to that is a Fallout 3 with all of the features of Fallout 4. But we'll just I know it sucks, but we'll just have to wait and see. However, we will pretty much have all of the information in 2 weeks from now at the latest, because of the fact that's when E3 is going on, and if they didn't announce everything then, that would be very, very weird. But anyway, regardless, get hyped. I'm looking forward to people getting back into Fallout in quite heavy way, so I'm happy and grand as hell as a Fallout 4, predominantly Fallout 4 YouTuber, so this will be pretty cool for me. And yes, I'll have a new video up soon. I've got a little bit of a tweak change to the channel, which I'm going to be doing. So I might be doing a vlog next, so you'll get to see my face if you've missed it. But until that monumental occasion, you lot enjoy the rest of your week. You take care.